Hello and welcome to another episode of Daily Market Mastery with me on this Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. As always, before we jump into the markets, let's get the usual disclaimer out of the way first. Everything that I share in this live stream / video is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. Besides that, all the tools that I'm using, so the broker, the charting software, the strategy I'm following, and so on, are all linked in the video description down below. And the one thing I truly recommend is, if you haven't done in the past, check out the Elliott Wave principle, which you can read online for free when you're using the link in the description below. With that said, we can jump into my portfolio. Hi, Olga. Great to have you here. I hope you had a pleasant weekend. Portfolio is unchanged compared to the last couple of streams. We still hold 600 shares of GameStop. We still have 6 covered calls sold against those shares that expire in January 17th. We have some exposure to Cost, Immersion, Neo, Barnes & Noble Education, and Novavax and Grab. So we can jump into the chart, and let's start actually with GameStop to see what happened there. So we covered it last week, as I mentioned. Thanks. Yeah, hope same for you. Weekend was okay. Today actually a nice day. Hit or finally reached 100,000 subscribers on my main channel. So there's that. So I guess in 2 weeks or so I should be able to request my first YouTube button or creator award, or however it's called. Kind of looking forward to that. Not much else happened on the weekend. Was busy recording videos and stuff like that for the main channel. And outside of that, yesterday in the evening or today in the morning, I noticed that the pre-market prices for GameStop showed a bit of a spike. So yeah. Anyway, focus on GameStop. And last week I already mentioned that, well, my overall prediction is that we are going down like this. With that huge move upwards, it's theoretically possible that the correction down here is something like A, B, C, already finished, and we're already about to get the next couple of waves. I don't fully like it because we didn't nicely bounce at the 38.2 retracement level, and visually it looks to me more like 1, 2, 3, 4, although that would make it a diagonal, and wave 5 still to come. Now, currently we are above the deceleration trend line. So, they're actually, so on first glance, they're actually, what do we have? Option number 1, this is wave A, this is wave B. We still have wave C to get or to come. Option number 2, this is only 1, 2, 3, 4, and we still get wave 5. For wave A, wave B, wave C, which is what I believe, or like what I think is, or what I would like to play out. Let's say it like this. Maybe my personal preference influences my decision making here a little bit. And yeah, thank you very much. It took almost 5 years, by the way. So, and option number C, this is the full correction, and we're getting the next 5 waves up. Yeah. Oh, and option number D would be that this is a flat correction, which would be A, B makes a new high, and then C still takes us further down. Yeah. But for a flat, we would need to have 3 waves, 5 waves. Yeah. So, and that just doesn't seem to be the case here. So, cheat sheet, just confirming. No, come on. Flat. Yes, any correction, and an impulse or an ending diagonal. So it's a little bit tricky. So obviously, personally, I prefer if we stay below 30 because that is no risk of having my shares called away. And I preferred it the most if it plays out the way I needed to play out, which would be A, B, C, and then we start to slowly go up, and my option expire worthless. And I just pocket the premium and keep my shares before we breach 30 again. But this strong move here obviously is a little bit of an issue with that assumption. Do we if we look on the hourly chart, maybe it's a little bit clearer, maybe it's not. We have, yeah, like, I mean, when we use our regular tools and helpers, then this is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we bounce at the 261.8. We have basically one move down, A, B, C, and then here wave 3 subdivides into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that fifth wave also visually already subdivides into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it really looks like we only finished 3 waves down here. And then A, B, C. Oh, that would be the other option. Okay, so it's possible that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with a truncated fifth wave. Then this here would be wave A, B, C, and now we're about to get a wave C. Then it would need to be a flat correction, so we would actually make a new high here. And then we get another 5 waves down. No, that cannot be a flat because then we would need 3 waves here, yeah, so... Oh God, I mean, Elliott Wave Theory, as much as I love it, labeling corrections is a pain in the ass. There's just so much flexibility and so many different patterns that can be true. The other option is if this is wave 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, no, cannot be, A, B, C. But then we are going too high. That's like for our usual taste, that's the problem. Like, we're working with probabilities and not with guarantees. We exceed the 161.8 level here by a fair margin, making it, yeah, I mean, not less likely, but just not fitting the bill as nicely as we would like it to, for this to be 1, 2, 3, and this a corrective wave 4. On the other hand, if we, I don't see many other options. I mean, yes, we almost bounce at the 261 here to make this 1, 2, 3, which is problematic, yeah. Unless it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave A, wave B, and wave C. But then still, this here is, I don't see this subdividing into a 3-wave move. So, a little bit, yeah, I mean, not frustrating. I think I'm going to stick with my original assessment here, so that we indeed finished wave 3 and we're still in wave 4, and that wave 4, maybe this is indeed really just a leading diagonal starting as wave A. So then we would finish somewhere here, in my opinion, and as said, then we'll eventually get our wave C. I mean, we definitely know more in the next couple of days. Either we get, especially tomorrow are earnings, so either we get a strong push up and I'll have to figure out how the heck that makes sense, or we get a decent push down and we basically finish 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And after that, we get a recovery and then we get another push down. Yeah, so I think that's the most likely scenario right now for GameStop. So I'm gonna stick with it. Possible that I get proven wrong here, but anyway, thankfully, one has to say, because I already have the calls written and I already have the shares, so there's nothing I can do but wait. And either way, I win actually. So if we go down and then we go up, I might pocket the full premium and still keep the shares. If we go up, my shares get called away on 30. I might just miss out on extra profit, but I already made profit, so that's kind of okay. The only situation where I would theoretically lose is if we keep going down, but then I can just keep writing covered calls, and we're not very far away from having the shares and quotes for free, or at least the first batch of shares that I bought, since that's all we've been doing with the portfolio since I started it in the middle of May here on Interactive Broker. So yeah, so the prediction for now for GameStop, well, my long-term prediction is still we're going up. The short-term prediction is going to be wait and see how this plays out, so that we can better narrow down what pattern applies here. Yeah, moving on to Barnes & Noble. Yeah, like here we already for a little bit, I mean, we called the bottom quite nicely after admittedly calling it too early, assuming this is the ABC move, yeah. There are so many things that already would have pointed to this here. It's the 61.8 retracement, it's the bottom of wave 4 of the previous impulse wave of a lower degree. And obviously as an ABC here, it's the 100% expansion level for wave A, B to wave C. So I'm not sure how I got it wrong and hasty here, which caused us our average to be a little bit higher, but we called this bottom, we called that bottom, we got this here nicely, yeah. And from the looks of it, it's just hard to label this part here. It would need to be a diagonal the way it looks right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But the jury is still out on the exact movements here. Overall, however, we have quite visibly 5 waves up, 3 waves down, and should get the next 5 waves up. My take profit would be, hi Dave, great to have you here. And oh, bye, yeah. So the first name first, yeah. And no, the last name, no, the first. Your name is confusing, damn you, yeah. But thanks for stopping by. And yeah, so it's quite clear that we have a 5-wave impulse that follows all the rules and guidelines. And what we have is either correction finished, and there are a bunch of things that point towards that, which means we should get the next 5-wave impulse, although the current movement is a little tricky to label. And I will not settle down on saying it's this or that pattern right now. We're going to wait a little bit. Take profit right now is at the 17.10 mark based on this first move up and down, or actually the upwards move. Although we also hit a profit target here at the 161.8. So it could be a diagonal asset. But overall, after this 5-wave, 3-wave move, we would expect the minimum move that we would expect would actually be based on this expansion here to 1419 or 1976. That's why my take profit order right now is here at 1710. And we'll just have to wait and see just how right or wrong I am with this over time. But I'm fairly confident that we'll get to close out this trade with decent, I mean, in a small absolute amount, but with like 50 to 70% profit on the trade over a period of, 4 months or so. So yeah, fingers crossed, time will tell. We'll have to wait a little bit. Now, we covered GameStop, we covered Barnes & Noble, Grab. We're on a weekly chart, so not much changed. We're still waiting and waiting and waiting. So far, we've been proven right, but there's still the possibility for this to be A, B, and C. And that possibility only fully gets eliminated. I mean, we will feel a little bit more comfortable once we have candles that close above the 100% expansion level, but we only know that we are definitely on the right side if we have a candle closing above this level here. Either way, since we got our call option somewhere here, we're already quite fine. It's also a very small trade with $50 invested, but the payoff as a percentage is going to be quite nice. Yeah, moving on, immersion. Unchanged, we're still waiting for a break of this line or a break of the bottom. Cost, same thing. We are endlessly waiting for a break of the top here or the bottom here, and we just keep moving sideways in between. NEO, we have called the bottom again nicely. We got in here, got out here, and we originally started to buy 1 share here and then more and more, and here we then increased to 100 shares. While I already pointed out here that visually this doesn't look like the finished correction, that we likely might get another move down, but considering the low price that one can already enter in small positions, then when we increased our position here, I pointed out that it could be the bottom because we touched the top of the base channel, that however, we only have 1, 2, 3, and we likely miss a 5th wave that we now apparently got here. We broke through the level that we were waiting for, and it looks with that we have basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 1, wave 2, and we should now from here get another 5-wave push up. Minimum target at 676, maximum target in quotes at 898. I'm gonna check our prediction sheet and see if that's what's written down. NEO 681, 904. Oh, we still have it from based here, yeah, but that's okay. So based on that one last push down here, the targets got slightly adjusted, but not by much, so we can leave them the way they are. And yeah, so again, not a huge position. We're talking about $450 invested, so for 100 shares. but it should pay out between 50 and 100% within the next couple of months. So this should turn into the next 1, 2, 3. We can also guesstimate if we throw an extension here, then we would expect the current move to either turn around here or to reach 587. And for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then wave 5. Yeah. If we turn around at 261.8, then we probably will only reach slightly above our minimum target. If we break the 261.8 and reach and turn around at the 361.8, then we obviously reach a higher target area in basically so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. So nothing to do here, but wait to see how it plays out. But it looks very, very promising right now. Novavax, yeah, the one thing where I got it, yeah, like initially wrong, called the correction too soon, thought it ended here, entered here with call options that unfortunately expire here already, and just for it to turn out to be a bigger correction like this, yeah, didn't help me to then call it in quotes right with the target area here. We finally broke out of this channel, which confirms more or less that we have now our next 1, 2. Here we can even on the daily chart see a free wave A, B, C move that probably retraces 38.2%. A little bit more, but not by much. Yeah, and so could still be wrong, but visually I would say correction now finally over, and we get 1, 2, and then potentially wave 3. However, from my positions, this will not help, because my calls expire, and even if we now get a strong third wave, it would already take us to the almost close to expiration to make it up here. What I could hope for is that maybe they move a little bit into less loss. Yeah. Otherwise, we lose $250 on those positions, and so be it. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to add a horizontal line. I will only consider increasing the position once we break this level here, which will be, while breaking out from this channel was one part of the requirement to serve as some kind of confirmation that we are now finally done with the corrective moves. Only once we break the level here will we have the second indice or like piece of evidence that supports the pattern that we're going up from here further. And then I can consider increasing my position further. That said, let's look at the crypto side. So we were looking at Bitcoin recently, and we got in around here based on accepting that my assumption that this might be A, B, and wave C is wrong based on perfect turnaround at the 61.8 retracement. However, we have this candle that we covered excessively in last Friday's episode. So if you want to know more about that, check it out. But basically, the issue is with this candle breaking the level here, and with this move reaching a new all-time high for 138% and turning around on that level, we basically, and this visually being a three-wave move, we basically have one valid option based on Elliott Wave Theory, and that would be that we're in a flat correction. A, B, and wave C should take us down to here, or at most to here. We should make it below, or we don't have to make it below point A, but oh no, technically it could be finished here. That actually makes it tricky, because the wave C in the flat correction doesn't have to make it below point A. I'm gonna double check. Yeah, it's like so much theory to always remember. That's why it's great to have the book. In a flat always subdivides into three waves. Yeah, A, B, and then wave C. So question is this wave C or wave C in progress? Yeah. Wave A is never a triangle. It's not here. It's a zigzag. Wave C is always an impulse or a diagonal, which means wave C always is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it always has to have 5 waves. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already finished here, however, yeah. Wave B always retraces at least 90% of wave A. In this case, it retraces 138. Yeah. Wave B usually retraces between 100 and 138% of wave A. And we can see here that we pretty much turn around at the 138%. Yeah. Wave C is usually between 100 and 165% of wave A, which means wave C, so this move down here has to go to here or anywhere in between. And this fucking candle here actually reached that area. Yeah. But wave C usually ends beyond the end of wave A. That's not a rule, but a guideline. So usually, not always. So usually this move down here should make it below this point here, yeah, but not always, which is a little bit annoying, but that's what it is, yeah. When wave B is more than 105%, blah blah blah. So now it's just about the how it's called. If this is our end of wave C, then it's a running flat, and if our wave C makes it below point A, then it's an expanding flat. No, then it's an expanded flat, yeah. So it is possible that the flat correction finishes here, and what we're looking at right now is the next 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it also is possible, unfortunately. I mean, or not unfortunately. And I like the idea because we trace here in a free wave move A, B, C, and we retrace exactly 38.2%. Yeah, if we were to break the level that we have here at 101,435. Then I would consider that our correction actually finishes like this, or is finished like this. So A, B, and C. Yeah, so that's the entire correction. If we don't break this level here, then this would need to be basically the next wave down. So wave C would then probably take us lower. Either way, the little bit of Bitcoin that we bought here, we're just going to hold it, because if the correction is finished here, then this was the entire correction, and we're about to get another 5 waves up. Right now, my take profit, by the way, is at, I don't have it on the chart anymore, but was at 113 or so. Let's check. My order is at Bitcoin 113,350. I will have to adjust that, so it's somewhere here, because that's based on this 1, 2, 3, but it's possible 4, 5. Yeah, so like that part here is a little tricky to label. Yeah, but we're gonna misuse this one, because if this here is wave 1 and wave 2 of the next upwards move, our target would need to be here. That would be our expected target, 120. I'm gonna adjust that for now, so just so that I don't forget about it. So our target would be at 12736.91. Yeah, so 12736.91. Okay, so order update. Yeah, we set the scaling. Yeah, so the worst case that I see play out, I said flat correction not finished, we get another push down, in which case we lose like temporarily like 10%, and then after that we should go further up. If we break below 88,705, I mean, if we break a little, but then we trace, just like we broke here through 138, and then we trace, it's fine. If we break below or have a candle close below that, we have to consider to maybe cut our losses, yeah? Or just hold the position, because the one I'm having is not very big. So, but considering everything, especially also that we here, I'm going to remove the levels that we don't need so that we don't clutter the chart too much. So that here we retrace perfect 38.2%. I actually consider it more likely that this was the wave C of that flat correction. So, which means we should go further up over the next couple of days and weeks in 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5, and I said reach the 120,000 mark. Yeah. Looking at XYO, we are still waiting to see if we get our wave C push, or if that was already our ABC. We don't hold a position right now. I got out a little bit too early. I got out at the 261.8 extension down here. And unfortunately, in this case, we had a run up to the 661.8, so I missed out on like 200-300%. But we don't want to rush jumping into this again, even though we turn around at 38.2 here nicely, and this would be a proper free wave move. But the problem is, if we're wrong here and we would have jumped in here, that here, if we're wrong, we would actually have almost 30 to 50% risk depending on where we entered before we might get the next push upwards. Whereas in comparison, jumping into Bitcoin instead in the meantime had only 10% risk, with of course less upside as well, but risk-reward ratio, or the risk was just easier to stomach in quotes, yeah. But XYO, if one wanted to, one could enter in small tranches already. It's possible that the correction finished here and we are going to get the next 5 waves up, in which case the profit target would actually be quite interesting because it would be based on this move here. So we can see that there is like 300% upside. But if we first go down to the 61.8 retracement, for example, or 50% retracement, we can see there is still a lot of upside left then. So something from 150% to 500%. Wait, is it 150? 20? Yeah, so 150 or a little bit more to 500%. And we will feel more comfortable getting in. If we now start to see already a bigger increase in quotes, so like not a further move downwards, but more like a 1, 2, 3, we can always enter here as well to still gain some upside. But right now, the Bitcoin trade just makes more sense in the crypto area. Looking at XRP could theoretically break through the 361 level as well. But I think we've reached the end of the third wave here because we bounced so nicely on exactly the level we expect, which means the next couple of weeks should, in that case, for XRP actually bring sideways movement to get us out of that acceleration channel. And then we get another 5th wave. I don't hold XRP. I sold here. So somewhere here to 50 to 60. And I'm waiting for it to play out. If I'm wrong, I miss out on additional profit, but nobody ever went broke from taking profits, unless you have a lot of big losing trades on the other side, which we don't. And if I'm right, I will be able to re-enter probably here. So what's that? 30%, yeah, like almost 40% cheaper for then another move upwards. Yeah. H&T. Let's check. Where are you? Oh, reach the minimum target. That one we don't need, but we see we reached the minimum target, although we retraced only 38.2%. We pretty much retraced 38.2 almost with the first wave. So wave A, wave B, and then we got a wave C push that just reached it briefly, reached the minimum target, and now apparently we're in the next wave up, which is quite interesting. We can see we're on a weekly chart. We had a huge journey in H&T, 61.8% retracement in a nice 3-wave move. And now we have another 5 waves up, 38.2% retracement, and which means we should theoretically see the next upwards move, and the profit targets are going to be insane. So as we can see, the first one would be at 100% upside, and our usual target would actually be I don't know, like what's that, 700% or so. I mean, my H&T are anyway locked up for quite some time. What could be the alternative? The alternative would be if this is a flat correction as well. Yeah, we're on a weekly chart. This could still be A, B, and then we get wave C with a push further down, and after that we go further up. Yeah. The other alternative, although this is visually a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move. Oh no, that's visually actually a 5-wave move. Yeah. So if that's a 5-wave move. No, that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. Yeah, so that's a 3-wave move that consists of 5 waves, 3 waves, 5 waves. That's my statement right now here. And so what other option do we have? Actually none. So I see short-term the possibility that we might get another push down, but long-term I see more upside based on Elliott Wave Theory here. We don't care about Ethereum. We don't hold a lot of it, so it doesn't matter. Algorand might get another push. We can see that we didn't. Where's the 361.8? Just checking. 361.8. Oh no, not that, 0.8. Yeah, so we didn't really bounce at the 361.8. So it's possible that this move here isn't finished yet. Didn't want to delete it, just wanted to remove the 361, yeah. So, and we don't need the 3000 either. So I would expect that we potentially get another push to touch that level here before we then slowly make it out of the acceleration channel. Time will tell. Possible, we don't always reach the levels that we expect. We just usually often enough do. That's why we trade based on those levels, because they're right often enough. So it's possible that we also already finished here, in which case we would go down here right now, at least in my opinion. So as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or as ABC only to the 21.4% retracement, but that's the least likely from our usual candidates. That's why we don't even have it in our standard template. Yeah, and that's pretty much about Algorand. Donald or DJT, Trump Media, yeah. Yeah, we called I believe we called the bottom. I'm fairly certain we did. And since then we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now there might be another push down to correct this entire move. But overall we have wave 1, wave 2, and we should get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have basically still 100% upside here in that completely overvalued business, but the pattern suggests there is more to come. And yeah, what else do I want to look at today? SMCI now exceeded our 100% target. We actually would expect to start to go down here. I believe we only have wave A of the correction finished, or not even the full wave A, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 could go higher in that case, to be honest, although we would be at the right levels for it to turn around. Either way, my long-term outlook here is still bearish. And Fossil is moving strong. Not sure where we looked at the last time. So we broke the 261.8, but we're now retracing here. Kennedy channeling technique, do you help? One. Technically, Kennedy channeling technique would suggest that we're in wave 4. So here our usual target didn't hold up. But if we are in wave 4, we would expect our usual levels, so 38.2, 60, 50, 78.6, and 21.4. And then that would likely be only wave A, wave B, and then wave C is still down. But I'm not certain, I'm not 100% sure here, because again, we did not bounce on one of our usual targets. So it could also be that this is just a correction as part of this movement here, and that we don't retrace all the way. But that we first get another push high up. And yeah, I think with that we've covered most of the important things. There are no new predictions, to be honest. It's just about waiting how certain things will play out in the near future. To be fair, I'm overall happy with how the portfolio is doing. Yeah, so we are up by just a second. We are up by basically 83%. So we started here where it says basically -12, which means we can add the -12 up here, because that's just from paying the account access fees. So there was little money in the account, and every month paying like $50 to have access to the trading data for Motive Wave. And now here we started, and we are basically up 83% in 6 months, which is an incredible performance. But if I then look at some of the charts, I'm just wondering why I'm not up more, you know, like, I mean, we got some things wrong. So yeah, in Novavax, we will lose $240 likely, maybe a little less, because I called the correction too early and then thought from here till January, it will be no problem to play out as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 20. Turns out correction was bigger. Yeah. So still a 3-wave move. I just mislabeled it. So it's 3 waves, and 5 waves. So, where I thought it's 3 waves and we're done. Yeah. But other than that, like Neo, like entry, of course, very late, but we didn't look at Neo for quite some time. Perfect exit, re-entry is almost perfect. Yeah. Barnes and Noble entry, perfect. I mean, first entry is slightly wrong. Okay, I admit that. Perfect. Yeah. So like I'm really sometimes wondering, like, we should be up by much more. Yeah, like there should be more than 80% return already. But I guess it's because most of our money is tied into GameStop, and we're writing covered calls, and so most of the profit is actually from option premium, and all the trades that we called so well are actually relatively small positions in comparison. I mean, overall, who am I to complain? It's still an incredible performance that's probably unsustainable in the long run. Yeah. But if I look back, I mean, so I'm going to switch to the scene. So just for a little bit small talk. And again, don't forget, like, subscribe, enable notifications. Yeah. So you don't miss out on future live streams. But if I look back, ever since I blew my share of trading accounts over the years. And then I think in 2020, but after the COVID crash, after Irina and I finally got our business a little bit off the ground and had some spare money again to save and invest, and also a little bit more time, I started trading on eToro, and then there finished 3 quarters of 2020 with 28% return, 2021 I think with 34%, and 2022 with, I think it was 45% or so. Last year, we already have 2024. No. Oh no, 21. Then I started 21 or not, like, so it's like so hard to keep track. Yeah. Let's see if I find. Slow and steady wins the race. Yeah. So do I get stats to load? It does not load the statistic. How annoying is that? But I can log in and then I might see them or not. Text message. Yeah, 23 was actually, so last year was actually already at a loss, unfortunately. Yeah, so no secrets here. I have to share my screen again for that one. Yeah, so camera might be slightly in the way, so I can scroll a little bit. So we see 2020, 30%, 21, 35, 22, 45, 23, unfortunately, very bad with 35. And then at the end of 23, unfortunately, I started trading with like 20 times leverage. And yeah, overall, I traded in 2 accounts. So overall, I still had a few big trades in the other account that won out. But obviously, the performance in this portfolio by getting greedy and taking unnecessary risk was not that nice. Yeah. And then we have our switch to Interactive Broker because I was fed up with the fees on eToro and not being able to dabble into options and stuff like that. But basically, now for the rest of the year, since we are at Interactive Broker, we have 83% return. It's not same sums and so on, so it's hard for me to say if it's more or less, especially since I have had 2 portfolios. I'm not sure if I find the second one or if it's even public. So yeah, 1 second. I'm just checking. Maybe I find it. Maybe I don't. do I get stats on that portfolio? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so for the full picture, so while here on this account, we obviously, so 23 didn't go that well, and then 24 also, although there were a couple withdrawals in between. So I'm fairly confident that the overall result was still a profit, and the second portfolio also didn't look that bad. So you see that was also like high risk, high reward. But yeah, overall, so other than the phase here from, where did we? I think in September or October, I started to trade with 20 times leverage, where it then obviously increased the variance by a lot, as we can see. No, August I actually started. August, that's where we had that first huge month, yeah. So August I started trading with 20 times leverage, and we can see that the result overall actually isn't that bad. And ever since 2020, I'm actually, when I'm not trading like a maniac with 20 times leverage, my performance is actually not that bad, as long as I stick with slow and steady, which is also why I like this live stream, because it forces me to justify my decisions better. It's obviously one thing to say I believe we have the bottom here, but it's another thing to now risk my entire portfolio on that, for example. So having those live streams forces me to consider alternative scenarios, have better risk management and so on. But I'm fairly confident. I mean, if I look at my history, of course, there are periods where there were some downturns, but overall, and it obviously was my own decision to trade with 20 times leverage in between at the end of 23 and the beginning of 24. But overall, outside of the time where I did that, extreme high leverage trades on eToro that obviously have insane risks, insane rewards, I've been actually trading profitable steadily for now, 4 years, yeah? So, almost 5. So next year it's going to be 5 years of solid, steady, profitable trading. And then I wonder, considering that my returns are not that bad, where the fuck my Lamborghini is, yeah? So like really, it just feels like the money, the profits from trading just disappear to cover taxes, company expenses, and other shit. But yeah, anyway, I think we covered everything. If there are no questions in the chat, so I think we covered everything for today. We'll have to see for the rest of the week what GameStop does, especially tomorrow after the earnings. So which is then tomorrow after hours, I guess. And so in our episode on Wednesday, we'll talk about it to see if we get our flat or our diagonal confirmed here by a move down, or if I will have to accept alternative patterns by move up. For the rest, everything is moving like the way we want it to, slow but steady. Positions are unfortunately smaller, but it's not necessarily always about the individual position, but about the overall payoff. And there we don't have too many where we are losing. Costs, of course, there the entry was a little bit rushed, yeah. Didn't label it fully and jumped in here on that move somewhere. Or maybe here, assuming that this ABC is finished, yeah. But I'm still, the pattern still is there. There is the option where I'm proven wrong, but then the risk is not that big considering our overall profit. So yeah. Anyway, I'm just repeating myself here. So I'm gonna just end it today with asking our magic 8 ball. Will GameStop go up until Wednesday? So I think it will go down. Okay, I'm going to shake again. It was showing me the tip. So will GameStop go up? Outlook not so good. It's like really crazy. This is a thing that has random answers in there, and obviously whatever it shows me should be completely random, but I swear to God 90% of the time that fucking thing shows me the exact answer that I expect. I only recall once or so where my opinion was it would go up, and then the 8 ball said no. But every other time it seems to miraculously, and it's just such a fucking coincidence, yeah, like so pure randomness that so far always hits, yeah. But yeah, so the 8 ball says outlook not so good for GameStop to go up. So I believe it will go down in a diagonal pattern here. The 8 ball believes it will go down. So yeah, like sell your shares now. No, just kidding. Do whatever you think is right. It's your decisions, your money. I'm just sharing what I'm doing. Yeah, I just want the calls to be highly profitable. Yeah. I wish, with my old recording setup, I had a webcam on an arm that was filming downwards. And once we move in January, I actually will probably set one up like this again, because then I could show the 8 ball result. But the problem is, because of how the ball works, I cannot show it like this, because then the cube that's inside, or the pyramid that's inside, flips. But if I get a webcam like this again, then I can actually provide proof that this is what the 8 ball shows. So, but yeah, that will then be in January. Anyway, Olga, thanks for stopping by. Bayo, thanks for stopping by. And everyone else that might have lurked in the background, thanks for stopping by. Again, as I said, like, subscribe, enable notifications so you don't miss out on the future live streams, or just set yourself a damn reminder in your calendar every day, 5 minutes before the market opens. Yeah, anyway, and see you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day. Till then, bye-bye.